guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today we're going to be talking about all of my recommendations for the Sephora VIB Sale Spring Edition 2018. We're going to be talking about the things that I recommend and the things that are on my wish list. So the sale starts, I believe it is this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So of course there's going to be 2 different sale weeks. It's going to start this weekend and I believe it ends on Monday, and then it'll start the following weekend and end the following Monday. I'm not too sure what those actual dates are. I will have them listed down in the description box below. So VIB Rouge, as always, during the spring gets 15% off, and then Beauty Insiders gets 10%, and then just regular VIBs also gets 15% as well. So because it's not the usual 20% that we get in the winter time, I tend to not go as crazy. Just like every beauty lover, I get excited anytime that Sephora has a sale. So if you guys are interested in all of the different things that I have my eye on, what's in my love list currently at Sephora, and what I would recommend for you guys to potentially pick up during the VIB sale, then you are in the right place and you are going to want to go ahead and keep on watching. So typically during the spring sale, I don't usually go ham crazy the way I usually do in the fall sale, because I want my little extra 5%. 5% adds up. I typically always spend way more money than I plan on spending, but I think that because I've been away from YouTube, being sick, and everything that has been going on the first couple of months of the year, I have so much makeup that I haven't even begun to play with, that I've been, that's just been kind of sitting around waiting for me to test out and try out. So because of that, I don't want to add more to my already ridiculously intense amount of makeup that I need to try out, but there's definitely some things that I want to try out. We're gonna go ahead and go over some of the things that are on my wish list / loves list at Sephora. I have my phone here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my loves list, and that way we can kind of go over some of the things that have definitely caught my eye over the last couple of months and possibly longer. Okay, so a couple of things, as you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can kind of see, but the first couple of things that are on my loves list are the new Artiste brushes. Well, they're not new, but they're new to Sephora. So Sephora just started carrying Artiste a couple of weeks ago, and those have been on my wish list for such a long time. I just cannot bring myself to spend that kind of money on brushes. I know I do have a couple of high-end brushes on my collection, but I feel like these are very specific brushes, and it's not your typical foundation brushes or liner brushes and things like that, whereas I've always been very, very curious about them. I've never bit the bullet to purchase them. Now that they can be purchased at Sephora and I can potentially get them at the 15% off, they are definitely on my list. I don't know if I'm going to pick them up, but they're definitely, I've got my eye on them. The 2 that I have on my loves list are the Elite Mirror Palm Brush. The Elite Mirror Palm Brush, which is $65 regular price, and the Elite Mirror Oval 7 brush, which is $62. Now, if I do decide to pick up one, I'm probably only gonna get one to start with, and the one that I probably would get would be the Palm Brush, the one for $65. A part of me wants to wait till November so I can get the extra 5% off, because every penny counts. Now, I have some Lila B stuff in my collection on my loves list as well. Some of the stuff is a little bit further back in my loves list, because I've definitely heard Samantha and Jamie Page Beauty talking about the Lila B bronzer, and that has been on my list for such a long time. I've just never bit the bullet and purchased it. But I also have the Lila B A Glow Face Mist, which is $48, and Jaclyn Hill has been talking about it a lot. I've recently been using her foundation method, where you kind of spray the beauty sponge with the dewy skin mist. I've been using the Tatcha one recently, and I have been loving the way it makes my makeup look. It is the technique that I have on my face today, and I just think that it really just takes your foundation to the next level. That retails for $48. This product has been on my list for a really long time, but with the way that Jaclyn Hill has been recommending it recently, it makes me want to nudge and go ahead and pick it up a little bit more than maybe I would have before. The next thing that is on my list, or that's in my loves list, is if I'm gonna pick up a foundation, it's more than likely going to be this one, because there's a bunch of foundations that I still have not tested that I bought even in the VIB sale last November, because I've also, like I mentioned, was not filming very often, and because I'm also trying to use up a bunch of my foundations. If you are not familiar with my channel, I was doing a series several months ago called Foundation Friday, so I was accumulating so many foundations, and I've actually gone through about 5 bottles of foundation. I'm trying to go through a couple more before I really start diving in and buying foundations again. But the Cover FX Power Play foundation is on my list. I've heard really great things about this foundation so far. I've personally had very good luck with Cover FX's face products and powder products and liquid products, so I feel like this is probably going to be a winner for me. Let's see what else is on my list. Another thing that is on my list, which I already mentioned in my last haul video, I might go ahead and pick it up anyway because it's the last thing in my Drunk Elephant skincare routine that I do not have. It is their new Drunk Elephant C Tango Multivitamin Eye Cream. It retails for $64. Drunk Elephant is super expensive. The reason why I might not pick it up because I'm also trying to be a little bit more spending conscious with my money this year when it comes to makeup and skincare and things like that. I'm out of my Sephora VIB Day serum and I'm probably going to pick that up, so this might not make the cut, but it's on my list. I do want to definitely try it at some point. I just don't know if I'm going to get it this go round. But we'll see, because I always say I'm not going to buy stuff and then I end up buying it all, so we'll see. But anyways, the next thing that is on my list is the Olaplex Hair Perfector number 3, and it does retail for $28. Stephanie Nicole actually was talking about this, and like I've mentioned 1,000,005 times, I definitely want to get better about my hair. I definitely want my hair, you know, to improve and look a little bit better, less frizzy. I want my curls to be more defined and things like that. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I feel like my curls are starting to look a little bit better, a little more put together, a little less frizzy and things like that. And I think it's because I'm finally deciding to take the time and the care to kind of, you know, show my hair as much love as I show my face. You know what I mean? So why am I so hype, y'all? I think it's because I'm like so excited to be filming again, but I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute and I'm super excited. The next thing that is on my loves list is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Subliminal Platinum Bronze Eyeshadow Palette. It is the 6-pan eyeshadow palette for $55. Now, I did buy one of the large 10-pan eyeshadow palettes from Pat McGrath, and for me, I feel like the 6 pans are going to be a little bit more practical. To be honest, I probably wish I had taken back the 10-pan palette because I don't reach for it as much as I thought I could. I am not a professional makeup artist. I am not skilled like Pat McGrath or even some of these, the more, you know, well-known makeup artists out there who can take a dark, deep color into their crease and blend it out into perfection. I need about 57 different transition colors before I can lay down a deep color. So I feel like with this though, it's a lot more practical. It looks like it's going to be a lot more easy to use. The colors are beautiful. Pat McGrath's formulation is awesome. And also I feel like if I wanted to get another Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, if I was going to get a 10-pan palette, that is definitely something that I would wait until November to pick up, because when you're getting into the $100, $110, $20, $30 for eyeshadow palettes and makeup products, you definitely want to get every penny off that you possibly can. So I probably will grab that one. I have the Marc Jacobs foundations. I have 2 different shades, Loved, but I've heard not really great things about that, so I'm probably going to pass over on that. I also have the Dior Skin Forever Undercover Foundation. I haven't really heard too much on that. That retails for $52. That's more of a maybe than a for sure. Let's see what else. I'm skipping over some of this. Oh, you know what? A skincare item that I kind of want to go ahead and pick up per Stephanie Nicole's recommendation as well is the Tarte Knockout Tingling Treatment for $39. That's been on my loves list for about 4 or 5 months now, so I definitely think I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and pick that guy up. To be honest, my loves list changes every single day. I change it all the time. Sometimes when I buy stuff, I take it out. You know, there will be things that I decide that I want a little bit more. So my loves list is always changing, always constantly adding, taking out, adding, taking out. I usually take my loves list pretty freaking seriously. So if I put it in here, chances are, unless I hear really negative reviews about it, chances are I probably am going to pick it up. The only Natasha Denona thing that I have not purchased the second that it launches was the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush Palette for $89. I always buy her eyeshadow palettes. I bought her contour palette when it launched. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick this up just because I want my Natasha Denona collection to be complete, even though I don't have the larger 28-pan eyeshadow palettes. I've heard really great things about this, and I also want to do a video dedicated to Natasha Denona, what's good, what's not, what you should get, what you shouldn't get. And I feel like this is going to be a really staple product. I feel like this is something that I would get a lot of use out of. Her highlighter is one of my favorites. I think I mentioned it in my 2016 and my 2017 yearly favorites. I still use it all the time. I love her blushes, and I think I just want to test this out and just kind of see. I just want to see what happens with it. So that is pretty much everything that's on my loves list. I can guarantee you all of that is not going to come home with me. And when I get into the store, there's definitely going to be some things that I did not mention here that end up coming home in the bag with me. One more thing that has been on my radar that I want to pick up, and this is more of a you guys let me know if you've tested it out, because every time I go to Sephora or I go online, I find myself looking at this particular product, but has never come home with me. It's the new Touch and Soul. I don't know the name. I can't find it on my loves list. It's that new Touch and Soul eyeshadow palette. Literally, I look at it, I stare at it every single freaking time I go into Sephora or I'm online, and I just never add it to the cart. I really want to pick it up. I'm not sure about it though. Let me know in the comment section below if you have it. If you do have it, what you think of it, if you think it's worth the money, because I really kind of want to get it. So those are some of the things that are on my personal loves list. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of my recommendations. Now I'm not going to beat a dead horse here because I think I've done 2 or 3 of these recommendations over my time here on YouTube. Most of those products definitely do stand, and I definitely would recommend year in and year out as long as they are not limited edition. I always recommend high-end skincare. Like I always recommend picking up a Foreo Luna or a Clarisonic. I personally own both. I personally use both very regularly, depending on how my skin is feeling, depending on how much of a deep clean I feel that I need. I definitely don't think you need both, but I definitely would recommend picking up one. Of course, I always recommend getting some Drunk Elephant products. The Sephora Day Serum, absolutely 100% is a must. Another favorite skincare item of mine is the Sunday Riley UFO Dry Oil. That is so excellent whenever you have congested pores or a little bit of extra acne. I love that guy as well. I definitely recommend that. I just finished my second bottle of the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Foundation. I'm all the way here for this foundation, you already know. My love for it has not changed, so if you have not checked out that foundation, I highly recommend it as well. So those are some products that have been staples in my collection that I buy every time I run out. So I thought I would just go ahead and mention those. Some new favorites that I have been into that I probably have, and Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. I've tested this out a couple times. I was going to do a full face of first impressions, but I want to start getting some reviews out on some eyeshadow palettes. So I've tested this out. Get one of her other palettes. This is not one of my favorite Natasha Denona releases as far as her eyeshadow palettes are concerned. I'm still playing with it. I haven't 100% formed my thoughts on it, but as of right now, I would say get the Star palette, get the Lila palette, or the Sunset palette. I would recommend all of those, probably more than this guy. I've only used it about 3 times. I haven't used every single color yet, so I still need to test out a little bit more, but so far I'm not like overly wowed. Another product though that I was surprised by, that I reach for all the time, that has actually made me start contouring again. I have contoured today. I've been reaching for this a lot. This product is really easy to use. I love the packaging. I would definitely recommend picking this up. I've heard some people say that they don't like it. I've heard some people say that they do. So just like most of Tarte's product, it's pretty hit and miss. You either like it or you don't. I personally love it. This Princess Cut shade for me has made contouring a breeze. Super easy, super foolproof. I think it's great. If you're on the deep dark end of the spectrum, this probably won't work for you, but I also use this enhanced shade almost every single day to kind of set my eyes and to kind of clean up my contour a little bit as well. So this has been a staple product of mine in my collection recently. A bronzer that I have been enjoying that you guys have not heard me talk about yet, because I haven't really talked about makeup a whole lot on my channel. I've tested this out enough to know that I like it, and it's probably quickly becoming one of my favorites. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Tawny. Now the first time I tried this, I didn't like it because it is super pigmented, and I went way overboard with it, like to the extreme, and it was really hard for me to blend out because I had so much product. But if you go in with a super light hand, this will give you the most beautiful bronze like ever. I'm addicted to it. I think it's fan-freaking-tastic. And Anastasia is another one of those brands that for the most part absolutely 100% hits it out of the park. Another palette that I love that I have continuously been reaching for, and this is kind of an update for you guys, the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk eyeshadow palette is another banger, another knock it out of the park eyeshadow palette. I know a lot of people were talking about it, I want to say for the November VIB sale, but I still think that this is a staple product. Huda Beauty is now like actually in Sephora stores as opposed to just being online. You can actually walk into a Sephora store, swatch, play, touch, feel, and this is a standout product for me that carried over from 2017 to 2018. This is definitely something that I would take a look at if you were on the fence or curious about Huda Beauty. So that's pretty much everything that I'm going to recommend, because at this point I haven't tried out enough new makeup this year to recommend a whole bunch of different things. I will link any VIB sale recommendations down below from previous years because like I mentioned, most of that stuff will still hold true. Also, I always recommend during any type of VIB sales, stock up on your favorites. Stock up on your favorite brow pencils, your favorite primers, your favorite setting spray, setting mist, anything like that, stuff that you know that you're going to use and abuse and go through. Luckily for me, Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty just passed, so I was able to stock up on a lot of my favorites, and that's another reason why I feel like I can go a little easier on this Sephora VIB sale because I'm already locked and loaded from Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I will have a haul video coming for that very soon. I'm just waiting for one last package to come into the mail. So we're about to get in haul overload, you guys. I really hope that you did enjoy this video. Sound off in the comments below if you agree with my picks, if you've tried my picks, what you think about them. Let me know down below any of the products that you plan on picking up during the VIB sale. I would love to hear your recommendations, especially since I'm a little bit out of the loop in makeup. There's probably a lot of things that have kind of passing me by that I'm not even really realizing, so I would love to hear your comments and your feedback. And then let me know in the comments down below if you go absolute ham sandwich during the 20% off VIB sale, as you know that I do. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really hope that you did enjoy this video, and happy shopping. Bye guys.